What's up YouTube, it's your boy Lil Solar Prime, and today guys I'm going to be showing you my deck list for my Sinful-Infernoble Knights that's featuring Azamina. I normally do not show my deck profile so soon, but I went to two different locals yesterday and went undefeated in both, which was one of them was a box tournament, which was pretty cool. I didn't necessarily pull great out of my boxes, but I decided to show you guys my deck list for some of you guys that may need some kind of inspiration or help with a starting point to making SIA, which is what I call my deck, which stands for Sinful-Infernoble Azamina. So the deck ran great. However, there can be changes made, but we will discuss those later in the video. But for right now, if you guys like what you see, hit the like button. If you guys have something to say, leave a comment down below. And if you know a friend that may be interested in this video because they play Infernoble Knights, share the video with them. All in all, thank you for whatever you guys do, and let's get started. All right guys, here we are with the Infernoble side of my deck list and the supporting spells that support the warriors. This is your standard build for Infernoble going forward, minus Bradamante, and we'll get to that in just a second. So we have the 7 main deck Infernoble Knight monsters plus the main deck boss monster, which is going to be gear free. So let's go through it. We have 1 gear free, 1 Ogier, 1 Malgus, 1 Turpin, 1 Olivier, 1 Renaud, 1 Bradamante, and 1 Ricardetto. The only one that really truly needs to be explained is Bradamante. This is your bridge from Azamina to Infernoble, and you cannot play this deck list without it. Even if you decide to play the Flame Swordsman side of this deck list, you're going to need Bradamante to bridge you over into Flame Swordsman as well. Let's move on to the spells. We have 3 Heralds of the Chalice, 3 Museum, 1 Almace, 1 Durandal, and of course the rear forces of the army. So that does it for this particular side of the deck list, which consists of the Infernobles. Let's move over to the Simple Spoils Azamina side of my deck list. All right guys, here we are at the Sinful Spoils / Azamina side of my deck list. And as you can see, it's not a lot going on right here, but there's a lot going on right here. So let's talk about it. So I decided to play 2 Black Witches. A lot of people are playing this card at 3, which is not wrong by any stretch of the imagination. I just didn't think I would need the 3rd, and throughout my testing, it hasn't really came up. I'm guessing because I'm maxing out on 1s and I'm playing 2 Deceptions, which can also count as Diabell Stars in some instances. But moving on, we played triple wanted, 2 Deception, 1 Azamina, and 1 original Simple Spoils / OTS. So the only 2 cards that truly need to be explained right now is Deception and the Hallowed Azamina. So with Deception, this is going to be your access into the Hallowed Azamina by pitching a monster from your hand or on the field to the graveyard. So another thing with this card is, I think I brought it up in my combo video where I discussed the life point gain and the life point reduction effect of this card and how beneficial it is to Infernoble. So as you guys may know, we pay 1,200 life points to search for a Noble Arms card with Museum. And this, more times than not, for me in my case, always puts me in a state of panic going into my opponent's turn when I'm going into time. With Deception on the field, face up on the field, with a Azamina fusion, we're able to level the playing field when it comes to playing in the time a lot better, because we have 2 monsters that we're normally going to end with that's going to put monsters on the field. That's going to put monsters in the graveyard during our opponent's turn. So we have Gearfried and we have Emperor Charles. In one hand, we have a monster negate destruction effect, and then we have a non-targeting destruction effect in Emperor Charles. So we have 2 ways to trigger to make sure we get monsters in the graveyard when it comes to our opponent's turn. So which can then make us gain 1,500 life points and then lessen our opponent's life points by 15 with the help of Deception. Moving on to Hallowed Azamina. This is going to be your fusion card that's going to be summoning out your Risilago and your Sylvia, which is going to be your Omni Negate. What you have to pitch for this is a Simple Spoils card. So you can pitch OSS, you can pitch an extra copy of Deception, or the Deception that's on the field that actually searched for Azamina, or you can pitch any one of the copies of your wanted poster right here. And the thing about this is not a once per turn fusion effect. So once this card is in the graveyard, you can return a Azamina fusion back to the extra deck, which is primarily going to be Risalago, to add the Hollow Azamina back to your hand, and then you can go for another summon of the Azamina fusion, which is going to be your Omni Negate right after that. And that's how that normally goes in my deck. There are some instances where I go for Sylvia and I forgo the Risalago, but it's very rarely that I do that because I actually go into Risalago to get me OTS. So that does it for the Sinful-Sport Azamina side of my deck list. I hope I was able to explain that very well to you guys. Hope you guys understood that. Let's move over to the non-engine I decided to play in this deck list, which is gonna be awesome. All right, so here we are with the non-engine I decided to play. I'm playing 3 Ash Blossoms, 1 Fullerose, 1 Jordan Lockbird, triple Crossout, 1 Call by the Grave, triple Dominance Impulse, and triple Infinite Impermanence. I guess I can go into Fullerose and my thoughts on this particular card. Am I going to get the other 2? Yes. Am I in a hurry to get them? Absolutely not. There's not a lot of people at my local that has this card that's gonna be activating against me, but I wanted to make sure I played one in the main board to cross it out in case it came up. Seeing as our deck is primarily a deck that loves to go first, and I want to make sure that the most critical card that is going to really hurt us gets dealt with by Cross-Eyed Desertator, Call by the Grave, Ash Blossom, and in some cases, Jordan Lockbird. Moving on to Dominance Impulse, this card is amazing. If you're playing Infernoble and you end on a mediocre board, let's just say 1 Charles, maybe Gearfried, and you have this card in your hand to back up that board, you're in a good position there. So if you have the funds or you have the resources to get yourself 3 copies of Dominance Impulse, I'm highly suggesting that you do so. But that does it for the actual main board. So let's move on to the extra deck. All right, here's the extra deck I decided to play, plus 4 other cards on the side that I'm truly considering going forward. So let's talk about the main extra deck monsters that you will need in this deck list. You're gonna need 2 Emperor Charles the Great, 1 Synchro Charles, 1 Angelica, 1 Roland, 1 Promethean Princess, 1 Ferocious Flame Swordsman, 1 IP, 1 SP, and for the Azamina cards, you only need 2, which is gonna be Risalago and Sylvia. Now for the other 4 extra deck monster cards that I have down here, I'm looking to cut these cards. Granted, Hida will probably be the last one I cut since we're kind of in a fire format and we play a fire deck ourselves and we can get some advantage out of her. But the other 3 cards and potentially Hida can actually get cut. Now, what made me consider this? It wasn't until I was going into game 2 and I'm playing game 2 and I got hit with a dimensional barrier, which kind of shook my game plans up tremendously. I ended up winning the game thanks to Ferocious Flame Swordsman and SP Little Knight, but I do want to have some level of insurance against dimensional barrier because that card is in the format because of Tempai, and I don't want to get caught with my pants down. I want to be able to make as many plays as I can make and not being stopped by just 1 trap card. So I am considering the Battling Boxer engine, which is going to change up the main deck as well. Because if you're going for Dempsey and then you overlay into XYZ Armor Fortress, you might as well get the value from Fortress by putting in the Mail and the full Armor XYZ trap card. You might as well go for full advantage there. And if you're putting in the full Armor XYZ, you might as well go ahead and pull in the full Armor Dark Knight Lancer. So that would change my deck list up considerably. That's why I really didn't want to put out this deck list, but hey, I want to show you guys so you guys get a head start on testing, and maybe you guys can help me decide when it comes to the extra deck what we should be playing to help play around dimensional barrier, because this engine here is not bad at all. I think last week before I had the Azamina cards, I was playing this engine and I was tearing up my locals, absolutely tearing them up. I went X1 in that locals, but I was tearing them apart with the Dempsey, the Fortress, and Dark Knight Lance. I was ripping them apart. So I'm really considering playing those and cutting these 4 cards, but it will change my deck list significantly. Now, we also lock ourselves into Warriors pretty regularly. So I'm also looking at other link monsters that are Warriors that we can use, and the only one that's truly coming to mind is going to be Black Luster Soldier of Chaos. And the reason I say that because his effect is really good. Being able to handle 2 monsters at once is tremendous, or that non-target banish effect that he has is really, really good. So I'm actually considering him as well. Let me know if you guys if I should consider him or not. I know it's kind of a long shot and he takes 3 different monsters to make, but his effect is so good. I like his effect so much. But let me know if you guys are considering playing these 4 cards on the side, because these 4 cards right here didn't do anything this weekend whatsoever. So this brings my deck profile to a close, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Like I said, please go back and watch the combo video that I put out a few days ago. I'll have it linked somewhere up here on the screen or at the end of the video. And I want to appreciate you guys for coming back, rocking with me, staying subscribed, putting up with my hiatuses when I have them. But I like to think that when I have content to put out, I come here and I put it out. If I don't have anything to say, I pretty much keep to myself. But I really do appreciate you guys staying subscribed and continue to show love towards me and my channel. So this has been your boy Lord Solar Prime, and I'm out, guys. Peace.